Hello and thanks for joining us on Collecting Smoke. I am Razul Wallace and today I am going to go into property number 7. Property number 7 is the first single family property that I own, the only single family property that I own. I just love the house and it was a good price, it was close by, and I just love the idea of having it for a Airbnb. I'd Airbnb'd my downstairs for about a year by the time I acquired it, and I felt like it would be a good opportunity to give it a try. Between down payment, let me see, I think I got it for 5% down. I bought it for $250, so my down payment was like $12,500 maybe. And with closing costs, I think it was another 12. So I think I had to put like 25,000 down with closing costs and everything. And then probably another 15, 16,000 in decorating and renovating. So I probably put about 40,000 into it. And at this point, I'm on the fence about short-term rentals because the mortgage on that house is $1,935 a month. An average month is probably about $4,000 a month. Utilities, cable, all the utilities are probably about $750, and cleaning comes to about roughly $1,000 a month, depending on how busy it is. So I'm looking at about $3,750 in expenses, or $3,700. I'm rounding here. So about $3,700 a month in expenses consistently. And during the average months, it's about $4,000 a month. Weekends are booked pretty solidly and consistently. Weekdays are sporadic in the off season. The off season more or less being the winter, spring, and the fall. The busy season or peak season is the summer. That's where I make most of my money. And I think the best month that I've had there is $8,500 in July, for the month of July. And then August and June, I'll be like $6,000 or $7,000 a month. But July and February can be painful, and they might be somewhere between $2,000, $3,000, or $4,000 a month. So it kind of averages out a little bit. And I think when it's all said and done, if I rented that house, just the shell of it, to someone, and they're responsible for all their own utilities and the lawn care and things like that, I can probably rent it for $2,500 to $3,000 a month and net $500 to $1,000 a month, and it'd be way less work, way less effort. Because with the Airbnbs, you have to coordinate cleanings every month. You have to, deal with guest issues, and that usually happens on the weekends. So the weekends are kind of hard to really fully relax because that's your busiest time for the short-term rentals. And things are happening. Your guests come, they're usually on vacation, so they're going out at night. And if there's an issue, a lot of times it's like 10 at night, 1, 2 in the morning. And my nightmare is a guest getting locked out of one of the units at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I'm sleeping. And then, because with Airbnb, reviews really drive your business. And one, you don't want them to have that bad experience, to be locked out of the place and not have a place to sleep anyway. And because I use automatic locks or smart locks, I have since added some backup keys to the units with smart box in combination. But I would only issue those if someone was having an issue getting into the unit, because I don't want to have to keep changing the combination. I do have a number of tools that I use to streamline a lot of the short-term rental stuff. And I do have a number of other units. So there's 2 units that I have that are in properties that I own, and 2 that I have that are rental arbitrage that I'll get into also on another video. But the numbers for me right now, from what I've seen with the short-term rentals, I think it seems sexy to a lot of people, the idea of doing it. The one thing I do like about having short-term rentals is that you do have the ability to use the space from time to time. So that is cool. Like if I was to have a vacancy, I wouldn't do it during a peak time because peak time usually brings in the best money. But through a good chunk of the year, if there was ever a time that I wanted to use the space, which I have done before, use the space for personal uses, it is nice to have access to a different space. Just because logistically it might be more comfortable if you're having guests or family or anything like that. So the pros to me of the short-term rentals are you have the ability to use the space. You really have the ability to maintain it a lot better because you're in there in between each guest. It's getting cleaned. You're staying up on the condition of it because it has to be, pristine. I am a super host, but you are able to get in there and stay on top of any issues and maintain the property a lot better. You can use it for space. So there's a lot. I do like those positives of the short-term rentals, but the cons are that there's a lot more work. I have 4 Airbnbs. 2 of them are properties that I own and 2 of them are rental arbitrage, which I'll get into, which is basically I rent from someone and I make the difference between what the rent and the expenses associated with it are and the income is. But I think that it is, for the amount of additional work that comes with it, the communicating with guests, changing of lock combinations in between, coordinating with cleaners, making sure that it's supplied, everything like that. I don't know that it's worth the extra effort. The money that comes with it is worth the extra effort compared to a traditional long-term rental. At some point, I'll probably give you guys more detail on that. But these units, I've already invested the money in furnishing and decorating them, so I'll just continue to operate them as they are for a while. But yeah, I have the other benefit though of owning the Airbnb, aside from being able to maintain it, is I like, if it's a property that I own, I feel better about it because even if the cash flow isn't tremendous or extremely strong or way that much better than long-term rental like I expected, I'm also building equity in the property. So that is one thing that I think is beneficial about owning it rather than doing the rental arbitrage, because with the rental arbitrage, there is no equity. You don't own it. You're renting from someone else and you're adding towards their equity. So the only profit to be had is from the cash flow of the property each month. So it's extremely important that it's cash flow positive each month. Otherwise, you're doing a whole bunch of work for nothing. And it's oftentimes whenever anyone is quoting you or telling you what they make in an Airbnb, they're usually quoting the peak season or the higher nights or the best months. And they are usually leaving out the challenges and the slow months or time of year. So keep that in mind. When I started to do Airbnbs, I usually assessed for what I thought was the worst case scenario. But that worst case scenario was looking at it in the summer months, like, wow, look at, assuming what this property was making, not considering that in January and February, it's probably not making that much. So with that being said, I hope that gave you some insight into the one single family that I have, the income and expenses associated with it, the pros and cons of short-term rentals, and yeah, give you some insight into my day. I will do a video where I kind of allow you to see the properties a little bit more, some videos. I think I might have done one, but I'm gonna do it again just because it was an older one and I only did one, so look out for those videos. But I hope that this was insightful, informational. Have a good day. Rein yourself in.